Welcome to Monday Morning Musings. Thank you for tuning in. So today I'm actually going to talk about something that was brought up after my live video yesterday. So I did a live video at an event that we attended in Chicago as a holistic healing event that we've never done before, which was super fun. And I was blessed to be able to speak to about 20 people on mystery illness. And in there, I alluded a little bit to my mom's illness, and my mom's illness starting after she had breast cancer and had bilateral silicone implants put in. And one of my good friends, who will remain nameless, thank you for pointing this out, made me aware of the fact that I had started the story, but I never really finished. So I alluded to the fact that my mom had this journey, and so she reached out, because I know a lot of you out there have had kids and you're starting to feel like you were just a pregnancy vessel, right? You had your kiddos, your uterus feels stretched out, your belly feels stretched out, you feel like your boobs are bags of tissue that don't exist anymore because they were filled with milk, and you nourished your beautiful babies and now they're no longer. So I know a lot of people are considering mommy makeovers. In fact, a good friend of mine had one. She actually was in Mexico and she had one. She got a really good deal on it. Such a good deal that she was debating doing it again after she put on some weight. So I understand. I understand what it must feel like when you had this felt body and felt really good in your skin, and then you made humans and now you don't feel like yourself anymore. So the question was, would I get implants? And the one thing, even though I have a lot of friends as plastic surgeons, they all know the one thing that I would say is no. And my caveat to that would be no, especially if you don't know your genetics. Because even if you choose saline, you know, they say in there a lot of times that saline is less autoimmune activating than silicone. Even if you use saline, number one, saline, huge mold trigger, right? So if you don't know your genetics, if you don't know if you have the mold gene, you're not going to know if you're going to react. And by the time you react, it's going to be too late. It's going to start a pathway of events that's going to be very difficult to unwind. So I understand feeling unpretty. I know I want to lose a couple pounds. I know I think about ways, that are a little bit easier than fasting and dieting and getting out of mold, because mold will increase your leptin, will increase your insulin resistance, will increase your fluff because it's protecting you. But the one thing I would recommend is to stay away from implants. I understand that you want your body back. I understand you want to feel sensual and sexual and be able to wow your husband and your partners. I get it. But I would recommend that if you are going to have implants, that you definitely check your genetic pathways with a functional medicine provider, whether it be myself or whoever you feel comfortable with. Because a lot of times if you put that in and your body can't detox, that's a constant stimulant to your immune system. And it might not happen overnight, but I'm guessing before you get the second set, because as you probably know already, it's not just a one and done. You have to have them replaced. So usually within about 3 years, people have evidence of antibodies to the breast implants. And once you go down an autoimmune pathway, it's going to be very difficult to bring you out of it. So I would recommend that you get a fat transfer, something that's from your body that you're less likely to react to. Number one, it might be a little bit cheaper. Number two, it's your tissue, so you're not going to react. And then you can get it, hopefully, from some of those stubborn areas that they're going to remove anyway. And just use that to reform your natural breast tissue. You're much less likely to have an autoimmune reaction from it. My mom did end up having to have a bilateral removal of her implants. And one of the things that occurs when you have breast implant illness, which is when you have an autoimmune disease that's caused by breast implants, is you have to go to a specialist. And I think right now in this country, there are only 4 breast implant illness specialists. So it's a difficult procedure. Sometimes it's not even covered by insurance. So you'll pay all this money to have your beautiful body, and then you may in the future have to pay all this money to have them removed. So I just wanted to speak on this because a good friend and sister of mine brought it to my attention that I didn't talk about it. My mom did have her breast implants removed. She did have most of the tissue removed. She and I argued a little bit because she wanted to go back to her initial plastic surgeon, and she wasn't a specialist in breast implant illness, so some of the tissue was left behind. She had a really good healing result for about 6 months while she was following an elimination diet, but once she added things back, her autoimmune flared a little bit. So I hope that answers any question you guys have. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll look forward to seeing you next Monday. Have a beautiful day.